If you were the only security guard in an abandoned hospital, would you still do your midnight rounds? I've worked security for years. Empty warehouses, office blocks, car parks, nothing glamorous. But the worst assignment I ever took was the old St. Vincent's Hospital in Manchester. They shut it down a decade ago. Funding cuts, asbestos, all that. Now it's just a shell. Long corridors, peeling paint, broken lights. But they still hire a guard for the night shift. Vandal deterrent, they said. Simple job. Just walk the rounds. Midnight checks. I took it because the pay was decent. Big mistake. The first night, I clocked in at 11:45. The building loomed in the dark, windows like empty eyes. My radio crackled as I checked in with control. All good, starting rounds. The place smelled of mold and rust. My torch beam caught faded posters about hand washing. A child's crayon drawing still taped to a wall. It was eerie, but manageable. Until midnight. At exactly 12 o'clock, my radio hissed with static. I lifted it to my ear and froze. Tom, my name, whispered. I frowned, thumbed the mic. Control? Say again? Nothing. Just silence. I shook it off. Faulty signal. Old building, thick walls. But as I walked the east wing, the wheelchair was there. A rusted thing, sitting in the middle of the corridor. I hadn't seen it on my first pass. I muttered to myself, probably been here years. I kept moving. Next round, midnight again, the radio whispered. Tom. This time I swore I heard laughter after it, low, breathless. And the wheelchair had moved. Not far, just a few feet closer. Facing me, my torchlight trembled. All right, someone's in here. I searched every room. Empty. No footprints in the dust. No signs of life. But the building felt heavier. Like the walls were leaning in. The third night was worse. Midnight hit. The radio didn't whisper this time. It screamed. A burst of noise so loud I dropped it. And when I looked up, the wheelchair was at the end of the hall, facing me again. Only this time, it wasn't empty. Something sat in it. I couldn't see clearly, just a shape, hunched, head lolling. I took one step forward. The chair rolled, not toward me, sideways, into a doorway. I bolted, didn't finish the rounds. The supervisor gave me a warning the next day. It's just your head, mate. That place messes with people. Do the job, take the money. So I tried again. Final night, midnight. My radio crackled, but this time it didn't say my name. It said, behind you. I spun. Empty corridor. When I turned back, the CCTV monitor at the security desk flickered on. Every camera feed lit up at once. And in each one, I saw myself. Me, walking the halls. Me, turning corners. Me, climbing the stairs. But not just one of me, dozens, hundreds, all moving through the hospital. Their faces pale, their eyes black, each one glancing toward the cameras as if they knew I was watching. My chest seized. I whispered, that's not me. That's not me. On screen, every version of me turned their heads at the same time and smiled. I ran. Left the radio, left the torch, didn't even clock out. I've never been back. But sometimes at night, my phone buzzes with static. And if I listen long enough, I hear my own voice, whispering my name. If you were driving a bus through the dead of night, and the passengers weren't quite human, would you still finish your route? I never wanted the midnight shift. Nobody does. It's the dead slot, the one the newbies get handed because the senior drivers all dodge it. But rent needed paying, and a job's a job. So I became the poor sod driving the number 47 through East London after midnight. Most nights, it was quiet. A couple of drunk lads, the odd nurse heading home after a shift, sometimes no one at all. Just me, the hum of the engine, and the empty streets. But last Tuesday was different. It started normal enough. Midnight on the dot, I pulled out of the depot, headlights cutting through drizzle. Empty bus. Dead roads. The first passenger got on around Whitechapel. Middle-aged man, long coat, fedora pulled low. Old-fashioned, like he'd stepped out of a black and white film. He didn't tap his Oyster card, didn't even look at me. Just walked straight down the aisle and sat at the back. "All right, mate," I muttered. Nothing. Not even a blink. Weird, but not unheard of. Night bus attracts all sorts. A few stops later, a young woman got on. Pale face, dark eyes, hair dripping wet. I thought maybe she'd been caught in the rain. But when she walked past, I realized her clothes weren't damp. They were soaked, like she'd just climbed out of a river. She sat 2 rows behind me, staring straight ahead, water dripping onto the floor. I glanced in the mirror. The man in the fedora was still at the back. Only now, he was staring at her. Or maybe through her. I gripped the wheel tighter. My gut told me something was wrong. But what was I supposed to do? Kick people off for being creepy? More passengers climbed on as the bus rolled through the night. None of them tapped in. None spoke. A soldier in a tattered uniform. An old woman clutching a broken umbrella. A little boy in shorts and suspenders, clutching a teddy with no face. Each one whispered as they passed. My name? Daniel. The first time I nearly jumped out of my seat. I hadn't told them my name. It wasn't on my badge. But every single one, without looking at me, without pausing, breathed it as they walked by. Daniel. Daniel. Always the same tone. Cold. Flat. Like the word wasn't a name at all, but a verdict. I wanted to stop the bus. I wanted to throw them all off. But my hands kept driving, like I wasn't in control anymore. The city outside changed. Streets I knew twisted into ones I didn't. Familiar landmarks vanished. No pubs, no shops, no people. Just long stretches of road that went on forever, lit by broken lamps. I checked the route map taped above my seat. The paper had changed. The stops were wrong. They had names I'd never seen before. Greyhaven, Widow's Mile, the last turn. My mouth went dry. The bus grew colder, breath fogged in the air. The mirrors showed the aisle packed with figures now. Every seat filled. Their faces pale, their eyes hollow, some mouths moving silently, like they were chewing words I couldn't hear. And all of them were staring at me. I tried to speak, my throat locked. Then the boy with the teddy walked up the aisle, stopped by my seat. His teddy's head lolled. He looked up at me with black, empty eyes. Last stop, Daniel. The bus screeched to a halt. Not because I touched the brakes. It just stopped. The doors hissed open. Outside was nothing. No road, no buildings, no sky. Just black. One by one, the passengers rose and filed off. No sound, no shuffle of feet. They drifted into the darkness and vanished, until only the man in the fedora was left. He stood at the back, watching me. Then, slowly, he raised his hand and pointed. Not outside, not at the road, at me. I slammed the doors shut, floored the accelerator. The bus lurched forward. Roads snapped back into place. Lights, shops, streets I recognized. When I finally pulled into the depot at dawn, the bus was empty, but the floor was wet. Puddles in the aisle. A trail of footprints leading straight to my seat. I told my supervisor what happened. He just gave me a tired look. You're not the first. Midnight routes take people places they shouldn't go. Be glad you came back. I laughed, shaky, like he was joking. He wasn't. I don't drive nights anymore. But sometimes when I walk past an empty bus at midnight, I see them sitting inside, waiting. And I know one day they'll call my name again. If you answered a midnight emergency call, that was never logged, would you still go inside the house? I've been a paramedic for 12 years. Nights, weekends, Christmas, you name it. I thought I'd seen everything. Until the call came in last winter. It was just after midnight when dispatch rang through. Female caller, screaming for help. Rural address just outside Whitby. Possible injury. We were short-staffed. I was closest, so they sent me alone. The farmhouse was deep in the countryside, down a single-track lane. No lights for miles. The fog was so thick my headlights barely cut through it. When I pulled up, my stomach knotted. The place looked abandoned. Windows boarded, paint peeling, roof sagging. Still, procedure is procedure. I grabbed my kit and knocked. Ambulance service. No answer. I tried the door. It creaked open. The air inside was freezing, stale. Hello? I called. Paramedic. Did someone call for help? The only reply was the echo of my own voice. I stepped inside. Floorboards groaned. My torch beam caught dust motes swirling in the air. Furniture draped in sheets, wallpaper curling off the walls. No sign of life. I radioed dispatch. Control, I'm on scene. Looks abandoned. Can you confirm the caller's still on the line? Static. Then, what call? My skin crawled. The one you sent me to. The farmhouse. Negative, the dispatcher said. No such call logged. I froze. You rang me. Midnight. Female screaming. Tom, we haven't sent you anywhere. Are you sure you're not? The radio died. A thud came from upstairs. Hello? My voice cracked. I'm here to help. I should have left. Every part of me screamed to get out. But duty kept my boots moving. Someone might have been hurt. I climbed the stairs. The air grew colder. My breath fogged. At the end of the hall, a door stood ajar. From inside came a faint ringing, like a phone. I pushed the door open. The room was empty, except for an old rotary telephone sitting on the floor. Black, dusty, its cord snaking into nothing. It rang. I didn't want to answer. God help me, I didn't. But my hand lifted anyway, as if pulled by strings. I pressed the receiver to my ear and heard my own voice, screaming. Not words, just raw animal terror. I dropped the phone, heart hammering. The scream didn't stop. It poured from the handset, echoing through the house. Then it cut. Silence. The line clicked. And another voice whispered, "We've got you now." I bolted. Down the stairs, out the door, into the fog. When I reached the ambulance, the engine was dead. No lights, no radio. In the rear view mirror, I saw movement in the upstairs window. A figure standing there, watching.
When I blinked, it was gone.
When I blinked, it was gone. I don't know who or what called me out there. Dispatch swears they never rang. No number was ever logged. But sometimes, when I'm on nights, the phone in the rig rings. And if I pick up, there's only one sound. My own voice, screaming.